So the very controversial film Snow White, starring a very controversial actress in Rachel Zegler and a very controversial actress in Gal Gadot, just premiered last weekend. So today I thought it was time for me to stop and talk about Snow White. Please note that everything that I will say in this video is just my very own opinion. My name is SDub Nation, and you are free to comment down below your very own opinion on the new Snow White film. Please don't forget to check out that Twitter and that TikTok. Those links are in the description. And yeah, I may get a little bit of backlash from this. As you can tell from the title, I actually like the movie. So with all that being said, guys, like, comment, and subscribe, and let's get right into our review.
Magic mirror on the wall. Who is the fairest of them all?
Snow White.
So I know there's a lot of backlash behind this film, a lot of controversies around it as well. I'm not gonna lie, I don't care about none of that. That being said, let's move right into the good. And the good thing that comes to mind here is that this movie is just cute, man. Like, I can't lie. As a point of reference, I had never seen the original Snow White before Thursday morning. I found it to be an achievement for its time, but it's not my childhood of Disney. I grew up with Aladdin, Lion King, Beauty and the Beast. I grew up with that era, and then also the revival era with Princess and the Frog, Tangled, Frozen. That was my era of Disney. The 30s, Snow White, Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty. All of that is not my era, so I don't have any emotional connection to the original Snow White, which makes me a little less biased when it comes to this whole thing. To address the comments made by Rachel Zegler, first and foremost, if you really watch this video and watch the movie, not only did she not lie, but also her comments were completely blown out of proportion.
Yeah. Weird.
Because everything that she said inside of the video is criticisms that everybody else has said years before. The movie was made in 1937. Not only that, the story is shallow. The animation for its time, yes, iconic, gorgeous. You have to understand that this is a live action remake of that 1937 film that is 1 hour and 10 minutes. Snow White herself has no character beyond just being kind, but Rachel Zegler brings warmth and courage to her. Also, they completely changed her perception of who is the fairest of them all, because a lot of controversies around this movie was that Gal Gadot is just more beautiful than Rachel Zegler. And guys, I think you're missing the point. I think you're blowing this all out of proportion, because it's not 1937 anymore. The evil queen's motivation was because of the fact that Snow White was more beautiful than her. So yeah, you know what? Let me just murder her real quick. This film changes your perception of what being fair is, and the fact that it is more about being right, being just, being kind, being courageous, being brave, being a leader. That's what being fair is, and that's the definition that they run with inside of this film. So no, the evil queen is not the fairest of them all, because Snow White is. Because Snow White is because of her heart and her courageousness. They make that perfectly clear inside of the film. If you watch this movie, you would completely understand that. Again, Rachel Zegler brings some warmth and courage to this character, officially bringing the first Disney princess to life. Her performance is star level, her acting, her singing. She has all of the grace and magic of a Disney princess. One of the things that got me really excited about this film was the fact that Mark Webb was directing it. I had no doubt that he wasn't gonna deliver something great, man, or deliver something this cute, because he creates this dazzling, enchanted forest filled with life and magic and wonder. All of the creatures, they feel like true Disney. The way that the light shines through the trees to create this dreamlike environment that mirrors a fairy tale, obviously mirroring what Walt Disney was trying to go for in the original Snow White back in 1937. And while it mainly follows the original film, again, I don't understand what people are so mad about. It follows the original film. Like, There's literally almost shot for shot things that happen inside of this film. But the changes that they make in this film are better because they add a little bit more context and more of an arc to Snow White's character. And in my opinion, I think that was the best thing for her. Like I said before, the fairest of them all in this film does not mean the most beautiful of them all. It means being fair, being just, being brave, being courageous, and being inspiring to her people. And that's what Snow White is doing in this film. She is inspiring her people. She is rising up to become the leader that she is of a kingdom. Mind you, I'm going to talk a little bit about the 1937 version here. And it's the fact that all she does is wash dishes, wash clothes, cares for 7 little dwarves, and sings about how she wants a prince to come scoop her from the dwarves' house and take her to a kingdom.
Weird.
Mind you, Snow White is a princess. Snow White has a kingdom. The evil queen is her stepmom. Yeah, she may be the queen now. Snow White can take over that kingdom had she wanted to, and when you think about it, that's what this film goes for. I also think that the romance worked. Mark Webb is a great director when it comes to directing 2 leads and having their chemistry work. I think our romance here was actually pretty fine, and also I love that Rachel Zegler was really adamant about, hey, there's not going to be a prince coming to save her. Again, like I said, in the original, she just sings about how she wants a prince to come save her. She doesn't really need that. She doesn't really need a prince to come save her, because that's not gonna solve her problem. That's not gonna solve the issue of her people being under oppression from the evil queen. That's not gonna solve anything. Like, what is the prince gonna do? The romance worked for me because it's not like she's lusting over him, and it's not like he's lusting over her. They both respect each other. And finally, the dwarves are great. I know a lot of people were having some criticism about the dwarves because, oh, the CGI sucks, and why do they look like that? They're not even casting dwarves to be the dwarves. They're casting regular height people. Again, we blew those set photos out of proportion, guys. We blew Rachel Zegler's comments out of proportion because anytime you look at a set photo, never look at a set photo or never take an interview 2 years before a movie comes out to heart, because anything that's said or anything that you see is not the final product. The moment you see the final product, you'll see, oh, it's whatever. It's literally whatever. Rachel Zegler didn't lie. Also, Rachel Zegler never said that the original Snow White was terrible. She just said, yeah, it was made in 1937. Evidently so. Yeah, because the characters are shallow. Yeah, because the story is shallow. Anybody who tells you that the dwarves are bad, they're lying. Anybody who tells you that this movie isn't at least good, watchable, they're lying. But I do have some negatives, so let's move on to the bad. And the bad thing that comes to mind here is that Gal Gadot, I love her. She's my celebrity crush, but she was insanely miscasted. She's playing a 30s villain with a lot of camp, while Rachel is playing a 30s princess with a lot of grace. There were times where I was like, why did y'all let her do this? Why did y'all let her do that? It kind of sucks because it's like, hey, I really love her as Wonder Woman. I like her in Fast and Furious films. In every other role, I like her in. When it comes to this one, I truly believe the she can't act conversation. And, you know, when The Little Mermaid announced this casting and they said Melissa McCarthy was playing Ursula, I was fearing. I was like, oh my, Melissa McCarthy as Ursula? Are we insane? What are we doing here? She killed that freaking role in that movie so much that I had so much hope for when Gal Gadot stepped in. Because Rob Marshall can make great movies. Rob Marshall can direct actors. Mark Webb can direct actors. I had so much hope for Gal Gadot. I had so much hope that Mark Webb will be able to bring the thespian, not even the thespian, just a great performance out of Gal Gadot. And unfortunately, he really just couldn't. I also have to agree with a lot of criticisms here. This film has an identity crisis. It wants to be like the other live-action Disney films. The live-action Aladdin brought something new to that original film while also staying true to it. We also have Cinderella in the mix. We also have just Little Mermaid as well. Little Mermaid brought some changes to the film. This film is taking inspiration, and not even inspiration, sometimes copy and paste from those other films. Even its animated features like Tangled. Our love interest here, for example, he isn't a prince, and you know, that's fine enough for me. It was fine enough for the romance. But the whole time I kept thinking that they stole better character personalities for this one, and that's not a good thing, because it's evident, it's clear that this one character is not Peter Pan. This character is not Aladdin. This character is not Flynn Rider. He has a name in the film, but I remember the name, but when you walk out of the film, you're not going to remember this guy's name at all. Just point blank, period. And his character is just inspiration and different bits and pieces from every other character from other and better Disney films. This film knows what it wants to be. It knows the story that it wants to tell, but it can't tell it because other films just did it better. In conclusion, Snow White charmed the heck out of me. It was sweet, it was kind, it was dazzling, and overall magical. Rachel Zegler is a star, man. Not only is she exactly like a princess, but also she just brings more to Snow White than ever before. It's not as good as Little Mermaid or Aladdin, but it is definitely one of the better live action films. Anyone who tells you different, they're clearly lying. I'll give this film a B+, an 8.8 out of 10, and I would say it's the pure fairy tale. They actually brought the original Disney princess to life, gave her own character, gave her own time to shine, and I think that works perfectly for me. Alright guys, that is it for the review. Please know that everything that I did say in this video was just my very own opinion, and you're free to comment down below. What did you think of the new Snow White film? Comment down below all of your thoughts right now. Please don't forget to check out that Twitter and that TikTok. Those links are in the description. With all that being said, guys, like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all next time. Peace.